everybody, how you doing? I'm making this video for all of us. We're gonna reap some rewards today. Okay, I'm gonna tell you my goals. And I've got like a scrambled head because I have so many things I want to talk about and I don't know how to talk about all this stuff. I don't even know how. I should probably sit down and make an actual list of all the things that I want to talk about. You know what? I'm going to do that. Maybe we all need to be doing this. You see, this is a collective accomplishment here. This isn't just me. This is us. This is all us right now. You see this little book? It's a little book. Let's see what the first thing is that I write down. I will tell you the goal is to clear dark energies. And by clearing dark energies in the world, I'm clearing dark energies in our individual selves. And I want to teach you guys how to face any type of dark stuff. I also want to tell you about the show I just finished. It's a series. I just finished it on Netflix. It's called Feria, F-E-R-I-A. It's actually takes place in Spain, so it's Spanish. I don't know Spanish, so I watched it with the English dubs. I really enjoyed the storyline a lot. I wanted to talk about this specific show. It's dark. I mean, it's a haunted, dark, creepy, cult-based storyline, all right? And there's a mysterious, demonic thing going on here. And there's a doorway between the human world and basically hell, but it's like it's a dark astral plane. And we need to be talking about this stuff. We need to be exploring this stuff because when it comes to energy, for instance, nobody can deny this. When you're at your top notch and you're just beaming with light, people notice. When you're in love and you're on a whole nother planet with your energy, people notice. People feel it. We share that light with others without even trying. So energy is real. Our emotions are real. Our fears are real. Stuff scares the living crap out of us. How do we deal with it? Why is that happening? And now we can come back to a practical world with all this stuff going on in the media. I know I've been talking about it. And I want to kind of circulate towards what can I do to clear whatever dark energies I can clear on a regular basis. And we can do this together. We can learn how to do this together. You have to believe in the power of this though too. If you can believe in the power of love that you can't deny, you can feel, and that it can be infectious in all the right ways with everybody around you, that's the power of love. That is the absolute power of love. So topics, I'm probably not going to spend a lot of time with this, but that show, oh yeah, chaos, man. Do you guys feel like there's anything chaotic going on in the world today? Why in the world would there be chaotic things happening? And how does that relate to how we're growing, evolving as a human race? It was inevitable that things were going to get like this because we're becoming a global community. As a global community, why do we need countries anymore? And so in preparation of how that global community is going to be run, I guarantee decades of time have been invested into learning how to direct and herd the human race in a collective way where we can continue to keep the tiers of power and poverty in play. Now we have the rest of the world, though. We have a huge population of people that are saying, I don't want this anymore. I want everybody to feel supported and loved somehow. I don't know how we do it, but we want honesty that comes from the heart. We want genuine people. We want genuine support. We want genuine, intelligent ideas that are bettering everybody's life. We want a different way. And so, hello, of course there's going to be a butting of heads between those souls who want to keep the tiers of power and poverty in place and those souls who are saying, no, I didn't come here for that. I came here to enjoy my earth life. Some of us are here to with different talents, okay? Some of us are really crafty, good with our hands, can build extraordinary things. Some of us are inventors. Some of us work with electricity. Some of us work with building machinery. Some of us work with energy healing, right? Some of us are great communicators. Some of us are great with languages. And some of us are just great mothers and fathers and good with kids and good teachers. Some of us are great doctors, you know? And so the more that we empower the human race to be the best of ourselves, and we love each other for our unique talents. Some people are just really awesomely creative, beautiful artists, visionaries, great thinkers, you know? So this is the best of our human race. Like, let's bring this out of the surface. Let's not put this in a box and send it away and then threaten everybody's flipping lives. I don't want to live on that earth. I don't want to live on an earth where everybody's threatened and forced to not be themselves so we can keep power and poverty in play, right? So, okay, I just talked a little bit about chaos. Okay, this Faria. Okay, I'm going to just talk a little bit about this show since that's on my list here of things to do. I think we should all have like a list, but it doesn't have to be like I have to clean the house. What if it's an emotional list? Like, what is on my emotional to-do list today? Explore fear. You know, I just put what fear. Explore how I want to grow in my heart, or my, you know, how I want to grow my psychic abilities. How do I want to develop those? You know, whatever. Like, I need to call that person. I've been thinking about calling them for so long, and then I just haven't done it. Put it on your emotional to-do list. That's an emotional thing, to talk to friends that you haven't talked to for a while. That's like a good to-do item, you know? And so it's just like opening the box together. We can do this together, of ways that we can better our day to day, you know? And who we are as people, and continue to keep growing with love and light and genuineness and divine truth and something beautiful. Okay, keep growing with something beautiful. So this Faria, I would call it Narnia for the long. Like, I can't remember the name of that freaking show. I keep thinking it's called Narnia because it's like kind of another world, but it's definitely not Narnia by any means. It's a very kind of creepy show, but it's Faria. All right, so I've been thinking a lot about the storyline, which has given me so many different ideas. One of the main takeaways about the storyline is it's all the dark side, okay? And the dark side has all this power, and how people are manipulated by the darkness. And there's this like kind of underlying theme that you're gonna have to follow through with this process, because the dark will never let you go. And obviously I can't tell you what happens at the end, but I mean, there's definitely, it's an interesting end. I mean, it's an interesting end. I think it's a good end, because sometimes, I mean, inevitably we have to face this dark stuff. No matter how flippin' scary it is, we have to face this dark stuff. So in the energy world, when it comes to facing demons, it's like the one thing that this Faria did good was really showing the power of how people can be influenced by darkness, okay? Give in to darkness. Think darkness is actually angelic and blah, blah, blah. That stuff's okay. It's part of our learning, part of our path. One thing that we always have to remember the angelic side, because if we think these demons have so much power, we're like way off base, man. That's the problem. The demons have literally zero power, and the angels have a lot of power, and we humans have the most power of them all, you know? And so all along in the show, I'm just thinking, how would we handle something like this between the astral plane and the human world, and literally demons, and the concept of them crossing over to our physical plane? And what would we do? You know, how would we cope with that? First off, you don't ever forget the power of light that you are. Like, light is always an ingredient to this recipe. Light is the one thing that tames the darkness, the one thing that calms it, the one thing that helps it find something that it's lacking inside of itself. We can find something lacking if we want and say, oh crap, I guess there's that dark, scary stuff again. I'm lacking that. I need more to be terrified of. No, we need more light, right? We need more light in the whole world. We need more light in our lives. We need more light to support each other. We need more of the inspiration and the juicy goodness of what living is all about, you know? And so I felt inspired to talk about this show because it represents a dark concept. And I feel that sometimes that we lean on the dark and feel like the dark has so much power, but I have to be a voice that the dark has zero power. The only power that it has is to intimidate and to create fear and to influence you to be afraid and to feel powerless. That's all dark ever had going for it. It's really pathetic. Light has everything going for you. You always have to stand your ground with the light. So if I have to face a demon in order to help guide it back home to the light, or help it understand itself, or maybe it's a piece of chaos that I have to box up and send away, or whatever I'm called to do with it, I don't know what I'll be called to do with it. One thing, no matter how scary that energy is you're confronting in the energy world, you just simply stand your ground with it. And you standing your ground is the most intimidating thing to that energy. That forces the energy to shift. It has no choice but to shift. It's kind of like we look at what's going on with the truckers and we look at what's going on. We're literally standing our ground and look at what's happening. More absurdity, more ways to try to create fear and intimidation. It's all demonic stuff. It's all demonic influence. It's trying to make people be afraid. It's trying to put us back into our little cubby holes. But now we've got the dark stuff trying to come into our human world. And how do we put up with that? How do we deal with that? It's literally time, by the way. It's all divine time. And so we just have to continue to stand our ground no matter what happens. No matter what happens. That's how you deal with it in the energy world. You have no choice but to deal with it this way in the human world. We have no choice but to deal with it this way in the human world. So what are you afraid of, right? You have to keep standing up for something that is good, and the goodness of who you are and the goodness of others. And that's the only way that we're going to help to shift these energies, because we have the opportunity right now to move the mountains away from power and poverty and into something where everybody wins. We're here giving each other high fives and saying, let's open up to something better than this. We have the opportunity right now. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect timing. Okay, so Feria Chaos. Oh, that's right. See, I was going to do some energy healing. Energy healing. What do you guys think? Like, what kind of dark stuff do you think that I should go look at today, you know? I mean, I can look at anything. I can just let my guides guide me. I mean, there's just so much dark stuff, and I really want to... All right, this is something really important I want to tell you guys. Okay. In the world, we have... All right, let's just say you were living in a really dirty house and it hadn't been cleaned for 5 years. How comfortable would you feel in that house? It wouldn't be very pleasant, would it? Now, let's say this house, you know, you're living in this house and it's always been clean and tidy and organized and put together. It's going to empower you. So imagine the earth now is like a house that hasn't been cleaned in, let's say, you know, 5,000 years or 50,000 years. I have no idea how long it's been, but it's been a long time since anybody done any house cleaning for this planet. For purgatory and our soulmates and friends that are lost along the way to heaven or wherever else they want to go, right? And we have other dark stuff. We just sweep it under the rug and pretend that it's not there. And we all know that it is there, and it's twisted, and it's like jacked up things that happen, like cutting babies to pieces or sex trade with trafficking children and all this sick stuff that's going on. We have to acknowledge that it exists. That is dirty energy. And it's not just dirty energy in that location, it's dirty energy that we all are literally inhaling and exhaling, that dirty, filthy energy. That's why the world is becoming so contaminated with all these emotional vulnerabilities, because we're all digesting gross, toxic energy air. Because we're all connected to things, even if we're not there witnessing it ourselves, even if we're not 100% like directly involved in it, we are still a part of it, because everything is a part of us and we are part of it, and we're all caretakers of the earth. That's why we have to start opening our eyes, okay? We have to start doing something. That's why visualization techniques is so powerful, because it is. I'm telling you, this stuff works. If you were to visualize yourself as the most beautiful beaming light that you could ever fathom yourself being. Allow yourself to feel sacred and holy as you stand and gaze into your own eyes with admiration of your soul. If you were to allow yourself to feel those energies, it would change your whole life. It would change your whole world. Now imagine you don't do it just one day, you do it every single day. You literally take the time every day to just see yourself for who and what you actually are, but not just see it. Now you step into those shoes and you are it, okay? Now you emanate it. That's a very basic visualization technique where you now step into the visualization technique and become the vision itself. And if you don't know how to do it, just keep practicing and it will just happen all by itself without you even having to try. It'll just happen. All right, now let's see planet Earth, right? We can see planet Earth as the most beautiful, most sacred, most clean, most emanating of light, most powerful it's ever been. That's exactly what I'm supposed to do. Okay, let's do this together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see the Earth. That way I can have access to anything and everything that Mother Earth needs me to help assist planet Earth with shift these energies, okay? Let's just see what happens. Okay. So I'm visualizing the planet like I'm in outer space. Bam, there's the planet. I see the planet. And I'm literally holding the planet and in my hands full of light, okay? And the planet itself is one big giant heart. How do you think we have been treating the heart of this earth? You might see parallels in how you treat yourself or how others treat you or how you treat others is the same way that the heart of Mother Earth has felt treated. Everything is paralleling. Everything is interconnected. So even if you aren't the one doing it, we're still a part of the one that's doing it, okay? That's why we have to be so aware and we have to keep working on creating a better society. I just see this heart's been severely damaged, like it's been stabbed so many times, stepped on, spit on, like there's so many painful things have been done to the heart of our planet. But the heart of our planet, again, is paralleling our human race and everything that we've been through as a human race. So as I heal the earth, I heal all of us. So there's weird hissing noises. When you start putting light into things, it's like cockroaches when you turn the light on, they scurry away and hide in the shadows. It's like as I put light into the heart of this earth, I see all this dark stuff trying to hide in nooks and crannies. You see how the dark, the demonic energy is terrified of the light? It's terrified of the light. That's why we have to know that we are light and watch it scurry away. But what we need to do is coax it to come back to us so it can bathe in the light and find nurture and healing so we can all be set free. Because the thing about the light is we're not here to harm anybody. We're not here to degrade these demons or make them feel less of a person because they're lost in the dark. We're here to shine the light to help them come back to the light, to help them heal so they don't have to be in pain anymore and they don't have to be causing pain to anybody else, okay? So, this is the next layer, okay? So as I put light into this heart, I see that there's a lot of energy pushing out, like trying to push me back. And it likes to congregate in big groups, like in different sections of the planet. Like safety in numbers kind of thing. I mean, it's almost like I see high rises of like the higher up we go in these high rises, the more demonic these become. So there's collective groups of these, and they're basically humans that have they've let more and more and more of that toxic energy in, and they become vulnerable to it, and then they become reflections of it. So then they've lost themselves to something dark because they were not strong enough to stand up and do the right thing. So they become lost in some massive insecurity that then made them feel powerful when they were still just lost in a major insecurity. And they're going to do whatever it takes to destroy anything that wants to help them forgive themselves, that wants to help them come back home to the light. They want nothing to do with that. They'll even make a mockery of somebody like me talking about the light, because it's all their ego. It's all a big joke to them, because whatever has influenced them lied to them, but gave them this illusion of being powerful. The joke's on them, not on me. So if I'm a big laughing stock, I don't see the fingers pointed in the right direction here. I'm not the laughing stock at all. I'm talking about genuine love and support of anybody and everybody. So that doesn't make me a laughing stock. That makes the person trying to belittle me and degrade me the funny one. And it's not really funny, it's sad. It's really sad. One of the key things that I've been shown literally like 2 a.m. in the morning is that the finger that's being pointed out there is the mirror is becoming rounded, and it's going to start coming back to haunt these people, okay? Because the energy is going to have to start to shift back. So that is not garbage that we have to digest. It's their work, not our work. But if we're true representatives of Christ consciousness or divine love, we're here to help everybody and not judge and degrade. I'm not perfect, but I'm a human being. But we're all working on something here, right? And this finger getting pointed back is something that is an event, an inevitable event, that now this dark stuff is going to have to deal with itself. It's going to have to deal with itself. How many people are going to celebrate the day the dark stuff has to deal with itself? A lot of people. But when we do that, we don't acknowledge what we haven't actually worked on, because all of us have something. All of us have something going on that is our dark insecurity that we'd never admit, or because it's too shameful or it's too embarrassing, or I'm not that. So where we point the finger, it's going to come back to us too. And there's all different, obviously, calibers of dark. There's even really genuinely bright people that have their own self-inflicted nightmares. They could be self-harming people that, I mean, Robin Williams, I won't ever forget that guy, because what an impressive personality that we didn't know behind closed doors that he was in so much self-inflicted pain, like severe depression. He gave so much light and so much love to this world, but he wasn't allowing himself to let that light in. That was his personal demon that took his own life. Do you see the different levels of how this dark stuff works? It could be genuinely beautiful people that are harming themselves behind closed doors. And so that actually it's like murdering yourself. There's different levels. Every situation is its own unique thing. And so it's hard to parallel somebody being way too hard on themselves to somebody who's eating babies. You know, it's very hard to parallel those behaviors. Those are totally different demons, right? But it's stuff we need to clean out of the system of our earth and our human race, and happily do so. Let's happily do so. Let's happily help, no matter what the demonic influence is. Let's help each other, okay? And let's not point any more fingers so nothing has to come back, okay? Because we don't need to point any fingers. We just need to start standing our ground as the light and start helping people. Okay. This is going to take effort, okay? I'm going to just focus on one of these sort of interdimensional high rises, and it's a cylinder shape. And so it's flat on top and on bottom, and it's really tall, and it's sort of in a desolate earth world, and it's like a hazy teal green color with black and grays and browns, and everything looks just mucky. And I see in the minds of these demons, which could even be representing incarnate humans that are sort of wrapped up in this, it's just a busybody. Like everything is busy on the phone, faxing, printing, typing, rewriting. It's almost like reminds me of the media, to be honest. Taking calls, getting the information out there. It's like constantly, this is totally what this represents. It's the media that's still trying to it's like it puts its hand on the Bible and says, I tell the truth and nothing but the truth. But it isn't telling the truth. This is obviously not only not being specifically correct, it's swaying the opinions in a very, very noticeable direction. And it's not being honest. Genuinely Christ consciousness level honest. This is going to be fun because I have a Johnny Appleseed, a bag full of seeds of Christ consciousness. And I start planting a seed in every single computer and every single paper and every single throat chakra and every single blink of the eye and digestion and then regurgitation of information in order to suit a murkier world, okay? A world that has shut completely out the sun. And there's so much activity and there's so much passion to do this. There's so much excitement. There's so much, it's like we're called, we're following through. It's like when the bell goes off and the fireman has the fire to go fight. There's so much activity. Like this is rocking and rolling. Like we're in motion. We have to be in motion as quick as we can, but we're going to do it with gusto and zest. So I'm just going to continue to plant the seeds, and I'm planting the seeds in every single level. There's a very specific man here. And everything disappears, and now it's only him. And he looks like a regular human guy. And he's standing on what could be like the 30th level, okay? He's reading this. It's a bunch of paperwork. He has a thick mustache. It's kind of black with sort of gristled, like gray and white in it. He just looks like a regular older guy. He doesn't have it, he's like balding, so it could be like a perfect bald spot, but it's just got like hair still here, wisps of hair, and then kind of dark, very dark brown around the edges, and not like short. It's just like a little bit of very mild length, okay? He's wearing a suit and tie. He has a little bit of a belly. And he's really still, and he's watching me. And I start to hear the sound of all these like gross, they're like dark elves. They literally look like orcs, but they're really skinny and they're slimy skinned. And they're kind of all around the edges of this rounded building. He's trying to think of what he can say in order to influence me. I just show the mirror is bending back to himself. Literally, you're only talking to yourself at this point. I'm only here to plant the seeds of Christ consciousness. That's all I'm here to do. And these seeds then are going to be watered and fertilized by all of your energy. It's like trees digest the carbon dioxide and turn it into the oxygen that we breathe, right? So fertilizer, the things that we would call waste, actually helps the plants to grow. So their energetic waste is going to help grow the seeds of Christ consciousness. I just see that his heart, and his heart is the seed of Christ consciousness. And I say everybody is a part of this. And I start to see, it's like the second coming of Jesus, okay? Bear with me. I'm not like into these like kind of cliche stories, but it is literally what I'm being shown. And I see Jesus is coming from the sun and then coming down, and all these seeds are being sparked with this light of Christ consciousness and complete and utter forgiveness, zero judgment. But what happens is that the light now forces the illumination of himself to himself. And he's pulled into a really dark place, but he seems to know the entity that's here and isn't feeling vulnerable or threatened by it. The entity is really massive, overgrown. It's very gross. It has many sort of like root-like arms that are kind of fat and squishy, and he's very neutral when he's talking to dark energy. So I plant the seed of Christ consciousness into this being that he's talking to. I plant a seed into the heart of this space that they're in. And I plant seeds into the ground that they're standing on in this energy space. And I see this man in his timeline is channeling something that is guiding him to find greater and greater success in his work. And he's not really thinking about what these words are actually magical spells in a way. And so the way that the rhetoric is written, the way that it is read, the way that it is spoken is actually in subliminal messages, which is meant to be like a magical, it's meant to activate people to be lost, to be lost in the dark, to feel lack, to feel disconnected, to feel withdrawn, to go within and not find their way out. So the language is very influential in a really dark way. And he seems oblivious to it. He's just stating what's coming to him. He's literally channeling this being without knowing it. However, he seems to be familiar with the energy when he writes. It sort of comes to him and he just starts to write. He doesn't interpret it as like a psychic thing at all. It's just his gift. It's his natural talent. And I see he's really gone up the ladder of, the media world. This is weird because there's a seed of Christ consciousness in his throat, this man's throat. And there's a seed of Christ consciousness in his third eye. And I start to see seeds of Christ consciousness in every single one of his chakras. And he becomes even more neutral in order to express less and less sound so that these seeds won't ever be activated, which means he is sensing and he is becoming aware of something is changing and he has a different calling, but he doesn't want to give in to what that might be. He wants to just keep channeling the same rhetoric because he's familiar with that and that's always worked for him. And what I do is I go outside this building, which again represents like the media, and it represents this man, and he's talking to this dark being, and this is an astral plane, which no matter where we are connected to literally anywhere and everywhere in a whole infinite universe, and every single universe that ever was, ever will be. So even though this space looks like it's in an astral plane, it could actually be associated with a real place here on Earth. And even though this guy's in this place and now he's in another place in a darker space with a demonic being, he could be anywhere on Earth, this could be anywhere in the universe. So I'm just going to put my hand around this building. This is what I was called to look at, okay? And I see everything in the sound is going neutral. So neutral that it doesn't even move. because it doesn't want to activate the seeds of light. It doesn't want to hear the sound of love. And yet it knows that it's there. It knows it's been planted. So I'm just going to hold it, and I'm going to bring this out of the heart of Mother Earth and let Mother Earth be this genuine, beautiful woman who wants to hold all of the Earth children, all the human race. The animals have never given up on us. The souls have never given up. The angels, the alien friends, and on and on. God has never given up. Over all these generations of time, these amazing beings, and includes ourselves, have never given up on this Earth world. And I see this demonic being is coming out now and is trying to basically use fire in order to burn away the seeds. But I see that he has to touch the seeds on some level in order to corrupt them, which is actually extinguishing his own, the passion that he wrote. It's like his own dynamic that has an element of passion, that has an element of willpower to be exactly as it is, to continue to grow as this demonic gross thing, is starting to become extinguished. The only way I could describe it, like water putting out a fire. And I see he's getting drained by trying to extinguish, to remove all of these seeds. And he just becomes a black liquid puddle throughout the many floors of this building. He drips through these floors. And I start to see these dark elves coming out from around the edges, and they start to drink this liquid, but the liquid doesn't satisfy their cravings. And as they have nothing more to feed off and the energy isn't there, it's forcing them to come outside of themselves as their true selves. And everybody is starting to come out of the woodwork here as exhausted human beings. Extremely exhausted human beings. Again, there's no judgment of anything they'd ever done, ever said, any influence, whether it was consciously aware, done on purpose, or completely unaware. And I see another being here, and there's this inspiration to turn everything to dust. But now that this being has come out of what is like the sky, the clouds, there's still beams of light. Jesus Christ consciousness is here. So much is changing, by the way. That this being is wanting everything to turn to ash and to blow away, but I don't feel that's correct. I feel like this being is part of another influence. So I welcome the being to come closer to where we are at this building. Instead of being so far away and doing things at a distance, come closer. And I don't allow this being to turn anything to ash. I allow every one of these humans, even the dark elves, become humans. There's black liquid is dried up. There's nothing here but waking up with a really bad headache and wondering what the heck you were doing. What was I doing? And I start to see the foundation and the structure itself is starting to crack all over the place and is starting to fall. And it just disappears. This being is just watching. It's almost like he was called to... I don't really understand his purpose, but he feels free of that purpose. It's like he was going to turn all the people into dust so that this darkness would continue. Even if it was released from humans, it would find its way back into humanity. Almost like this was a keeper of a dark time on Earth. And now that this keeper of the dark time on Earth is no longer needed, he feels a relief in his own work because he himself is kind of turning to ash. He's really tired of this. And he smiles, and he actually spreads his body out like all the sands in the desert or something. Like he spreads his body out across the planet and just becomes one with the earth in the most loving way. And I see Jesus is on the earth again. And he shows me a really awful wound, like a sore on the heart of the planet. It's also in the heart, and we all carry this sort of painful sensation inside of our hearts. And I see Jesus walks into this sore. And he says that he is going to rest in this sore heart. And he's going to be with all of us. Every single day he will be there to help us. And his light is with us all. And whatever you could do to overcome anything that causes you to resist this love. You think it's stupid, or that's just dumb, or it makes you feel kind of silly or weird. Or maybe it's all you ever wanted, and maybe you don't know if you could ever allow it in, and how you really want to feel it, and then you can't feel anything, so you must be doing something wrong. Like, there's all different ways we're going to choose to say, okay, I'm going to try to feel this Jesus energy in my heart and let it heal the pain in my heart. There could be anything getting in the way, and none of we don't need any of those things in the way. Just let him go. Anything that is in the way, acknowledge, wow, I found something that was in the way of just letting me feel Jesus in my heart. That's actually pretty cool. I'm just going to send it away and know that I'm already feeling it. I've been feeling it. Always was there. And I'm going to let myself acknowledge this every day so that I can feel brighter and brighter in my divine truth and the love that I represent. And let that love channel new ideas and inspirations into my life through me, so I can be a representation of the love that we need more of in this world. We need more visible access to it. So I'm going to see the news now is shifting and choosing to speak with a love language. Is choosing to speak with the divine Christ consciousness effort of goodness and solidity. It's something is moving and changing there. But it's also across the globe, and it's in all of us. We're warriors of light, you know. And the warrior isn't somebody that carries a spear and stabs it into the heart of our enemy. The warrior is somebody who's just strong in their divine truth and just shines the light. No violence. Zero violence. And we just do that. And that's our warrior true selves. And when we become so strong and so solid in that stance, we're powerful. We're very powerful. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't know what I'm going to be called to say next, but I feel really inspired and moved, and I want to do healing and whatever I can do to help us, the whole world. Thanks for being a part of this experience with me. Have a great day.